Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about adding onboarding to your app with existing libraries. Alright, so last week I made a video called Superstitions in ASO, which was about how some of the rules in App Store optimization that we all believe but might not necessarily be concrete rules, just based on experience, and compared that with superstitions, right? And I made an offhand comment about why my user retention was so low, and I got a really good comment by Too Much Wasabi. And I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but he was talking about, he told me about, have some suggestions for the user retention comment on 226, and he was going to email it to me, but he put it on there so you all could see it too. And it was all about using, whether or not we should use an onboarding screen, 3 to 4 screens, in doing onboarding, because some of the things on EarSpy or Ear Agent are a little bit complicated, and people are always leaving bad reviews because they're not following the instructions that are on the screenshot, like using headphones and things like that. So he said use onboarding, and it was a really long comment, really good. Go back and have a look at that if you haven't seen it. Right, and I thought about it, and I said thank you very much. I thought, what, that would be really good, but onboarding. But I thought the problem is I've got it translated in all these different languages, and I just can't be bothered to go in there and adjust the code and put all this new code in there. And I'll say, how would I do that? Is it like a different activity? I was thinking Android side of things first, right? Do I have to do a different activity for every one? Do I just sort of cycle through them and everything? But then I started thinking, well, this is done so often. Obviously, there probably is a library out there somewhere, and it turns out there are loads of onboarding libraries for both iOS and Android. So I did the Android one first. So have a look at my screen here. I'll just show you what the final product looks like here. Right, so when the app first opens up, if they haven't gone through the onboarding before, you just go through here and just click through. I'm using Genymotion on the Mac. Normally I do my testing on an actual device because it's just easier for me, but it's easier to share the screen for an Android device actually on screen. So you go through here, and then basically what I was using was the language that I've already had translated last year for the screenshot. So I had it translated to all these different languages, and I basically used those assets, brought them in here. I used some image assets that we already had for an email newsletter that we had done on spy training. So it was the kind of thing where I was able to do it all in just a few hours. And then you go through here, upgrade to Extra Pro, and then done, 4 screens, and then finally it goes into here and it doesn't show it to you again, right? So it's actually, what I did was I went into Google. I figured, and the reason I thought about this was because I had a call from a prospect. They were calling up asking about an app to be developed, and I was thinking, doing it from scratch. This thing had been done so many times before, or similar concepts before. I said, you might want to check like Chupa Mobile or one of the places where you can purchase some code, because that might actually do like the first 80% for you. As long as the code's not so complicated that learning that 80% takes it takes longer than actually doing it from scratch, you might be able to save yourself a little bit of time there. And then I thought, hang on a second, this onboarding thing, which I completely agree with Too Much Wasabi on, there's got to be some libraries out there. So I did this quick Google search here. And there are loads. I went through a bunch of them. The one I finally went with was this one here, the Apple Devs App Intro. And the reason this one won me out over the others was because this guy, he's Paolo. He's pretty young, but he's got the instructions in here. But the best thing is he's got this little video here where he shows you exactly what to do. So I was going to show you what to do here. But I'd encourage you, if you don't have onboarding and you're thinking about doing it, and like me, you're thinking, I'll just go and do it from scratch, right? And don't even think to go look at it. Go have a look at that, because he's got a really good, he shows how to do it. He shows how to do it through screen sharing and everything there too. And there's similar ones for both Objective-C and for Swift. So that's one of the things I'm going to do this week, hopefully, if there's time with all the other stuff going on. Go through there and do that myself too. So just to show you the code here, I mean, it was really just a case of adding 5 lines, one for each one for each slide, and making sure that once you go through, it saves to the preferences that you've already seen onboarding, but then also put it into the menu option, so if somebody had wanted to go in there and view it again, that they could. So I released this just a few days ago. I don't know how well it's doing in terms of reviews and everything, but I'll let you guys know how that goes. I want to say thank you very much to Too Much Wasabi, because it was really like, it was the first time I made like anything significant, a significant change in this application, with the exception of, normally my releases are, try to get rid of an ANR, or something's crashing in a certain area, or I add a new ad network and stuff like that. So this was like, hey, I really like the way this looks, and if it works really well, I'll probably go through and get all those strings retranslate, or make them a little bit more descriptive about what to do and get them retranslated. That was a big thing that was holding me back mostly. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you guys are thinking about doing onboarding, it was actually much easier than I thought it was going to be. Even, for me, someone who, I code a lot, but I'm usually all over the place, just getting into native Android, and even with iOS, we have this. It's been in Swift. We put it in Swift a while back, and I'm going to go ahead and do that through Swift. So anyway, hope that's helpful, and that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. As long as I'm still